We're back.
And deader than ever.
I'm Tamara.
I'm Kelly.
And this is
Ghoul Beans. That was good.
How the hell are you, kid?
I'm surviving.
I wouldn't say thriving.
I wouldn't even tiptoe to thriving.
In fact, that's why I didn't say thriving.
Specifically said surviving. My softball team just won the championship.
Woohoo! Okay. Catcher of the year.
I've actually been playing right field.
Thank God.
Well, right field.
You've been learning right field.
Yeah, honestly, I was literally twice about to catch the ball, but the guy, because it's co-ed, and the one guy that's next to me, I love him. He's great, but he's so into it. He literally ran over in front of me. And I was like, I got it. Are you sure? Like, he's like, I got it. And I was like, are you sure? Because it's like literally all I got to do is open my mitt. And he's like, no, I got it. And I was like, okay.
You can't tell me stories like this because I'm like, fuck that guy.
For sure. Well, and I told him, I was like, next time, like, I literally could have gotten it. He was like, you should have called it. And I was like, you know what?
I did call it.
I was like, it means more to you that you catch it right now than it does to me. And not in like a shady way, just in like a, you know what? I'm just having a good time.
Like, you didn't have to say it in a shady way for it to be shady as fuck. That's so funny. What a subtle, like, jab at him. Like, no. Like, I know how much this means to you and you have nothing else going for you. So,
that's not what I mean.
No, I know. But I guess because people get really, really into, like, league game. If there's no stakes whatsoever, like
literally none. You think you think that guy is like intense? You should have seen the other team. Like no. they got a guy who will, I don't know if you've ever watched baseball, like professional baseball, when they just kind of like do their little tap dance in the beginning by the home plate. That's what he does. He'll like dig his foot into the sand, and when I was catcher, sand, it's dirt.
He's got a ritual.
Yeah. And when I was catcher, like every fucking ump would be like, why the fuck does he do that? I'm like, he thinks he's out in like Wrigley Field right now. Look at those baseball pants he's got on.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not. Whereas like we got a guy on our team, the guy's friend that I just spoke of on our team, he came and helped out and he was an incredible player. Like he was hitting homers. And he's just sitting up there like, da-da-da-da-da. Him and I vibed. Because he's like, I think I missed the ball at one point, and he was next to me. And he was like, life's hard. This is supposed to be fun. And I was like, man.
That man's getting a big enough paycheck at home that he was like, I don't have to worry about this.
Right. I'm just here to have a good time.
Exactly.
He was hobby. So good. Cool, because he plays on like downtown leagues. And he was so good that he just was like, this is nothing. Like, this is
practice.
Right. He was just having a good time. He was vibing with everyone. But no, the team is so fun. And so I'm actually really sad because now, I don't know, I've been seeing these people every week for the entirety of the summer. Like from summer to just yesterday.
That's crazy that you've been doing it this long. I would say, talk about it the least of everything you do.
I don't know if I've ever spoken about it, actually.
Not to the pod.
I think we've only talked about how a catcher, and they're like, what does that mean? Like, is she coming?
You playing softball was just like a side quest. You're like, let me honestly, for the plot, let me go ahead and mix it up a little bit. And
honestly, for my life, that's what I said. And I met some incredible people. Like, I'm really happy, and I hope the team gets together next year. And I'm inviting a couple of people to the Halloween party. I would invite more, but a lot of them work together, and I don't want to invite everyone.
And you couldn't invite some of them.
Right, because I would feel weird,
This is all getting cut.
I don't know. Just the one girl who I only told one person about the podcast, and she's invited. So.
Oh, okay. Hey, girl. What's her name?
Megan.
Hi, Megan.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't like the team. It's just I feel like it'd be a weird mix of people also. Like,
it already is.
Right. The reason we all get along is because we all play softball, and, like, we can talk about that and stuff. Like,
it's a ragtag team.
It is literally, and that's what every other team hates our fucking guts, and it's so funny.
Are you guys Oh, I was gonna say,
We
are
were
you guys good? You
Yeah.
won.
So I say it like we are better than we have any right to be because of
Mhm.
how ragtag we are.
Yeah.
And like these other teams take it so seriously.
Yeah.
And like some people on our team take it really seriously, but like only when we're losing. Only when we're losing do they take it really seriously.
Mm.
Once we're winning, everyone's having a good time. Everyone's
Well,
joking.
that's kind of like the state of everything, I think. When you're losing, you're like, I'm a snail and God is salting me.
But Megan and I, we do a really good job of like keeping the vibe up when everyone
Yeah.
gets really.
You
She's
get it
like
for
everyone's
morale.
pouting again. So
It's nap time. Everybody's sleepy. Angy babies. I love that. Negging your own team.
Honestly, that's what they need, and I'm gonna use that next year. Everybody's so sleepy in here, and but cranky.
Everybody needs Mimi's time. You go sleep. It's Mimi's.
So that was a highlight.
That is so. I'm very into doing things for the plot. That's why I stayed at this job this long.
Girl, I literally signed up to just be like a fill-in for a team. And last year I did one game on one of the teams that we played, and they are so intense. It was not fun. I was like, why am I here? Who got me here?
Yeah.
This
no
is-
one's talking to you. People are spitting at you.
This is the early part of the movie where I'm a loser.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
everything's
yeah.
uncomfortable. But yeah, this time I was like, do I even want to do it again? And I was like, I might as well go. What
Yeah.
else am I doing?
It's a little hobby. What else am I doing? You know, just like so much.
everything.
Yeah.
No time for it.
That's like whenever my job asked me to like chaperone things.
Yeah, you're like, why not? And you're like, I could give you 5,000 reasons why.
Like literally. I'm like, oh, I have to just spend legitimately 12 hours at my job on a Friday to chaperone children who don't give a fuck if I died tomorrow. Yeah.
What's up?
But honestly, what I'm talking about is I chaperoned homecoming this weekend.
Yeah. You said you were still recovering.
I was still recovering. It was fun.
It's Friday. It's been a whole week.
No, I am still recovering because I have been like so fucking slammed. Like every single second of every single day is accounted for.
Damn. Yeah.
Until I think November, shit clears up. After we come back from the trip, I think my November is honestly blank compared to my October.
Seriously, we had so many plans. October is my favorite month out of the year, and it sucks because it's always the busiest.
Same for me.
And not even with like spooky stuff.
No.
Like I want to go to a haunted house so bad.
Halloween's tomorrow.
Literally, like
Yeah.
I literally can't. I'm getting my nipples pierced on Halloween.
Okay. The way you said it was like a threat.
No, I just like made a decision and an
Okay, cool.
appointment.
Both of them?
Mm-hmm. At the same time.
Okay. You can't go swimming for a while.
I feel like I interrupted how you were to tell you that my nipples are being pierced.
You didn't. Like 90% of that's getting cut anyway.
That's fair. I wanted to ask you today because I was thinking, what do you think the whitest thing about you is? Like the most Caucasian. You are not Caucasian for the pod.
For the pod, I am not Caucasian.
But you know. Like,
the whitest thing about me is that is this a trap? Because
it's not a trap.
Because I feel like I can't say anything without insulting white people. Well, I don't give a fuck, but you in particular.
Please. Wait, is it like hanging out with me? Because that's aggressive.
No, but that's probably up there. I would say the whitest thing about me is that I can be a little gross sometimes.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, I have no boundaries with my cat. That's a white people thing. Like
I don't do that. I have a lot of boundaries with my pets.
I don't.
Well, that is a white people thing.
Well, him, the dog that lives upstairs, I do because he is smelly and bad.
Yeah.
But with Maisie, I would use her as a pillow pet if I could.
Yeah.
I would wear her as a scarf. I love her so much.
That's like classically a white people thing. Though.
Yeah,
like
so
letting dogs lick your mouth.
That's crazy. Never done that.
But I would never.
And with Maisie, like, she wants to put her paws on my face, and I don't allow that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that the whitest thing about me is that I can be kind of gross.
With
Yeah.
like that stuff.
Yeah, or like, I'll leave my hair in the shower.
I think that's just a girl thing.
In my experience, it's been a lot of white people who do that. Or
Really?
like letting your bathroom get kind of nasty.
Really?
Yeah, I do. So those are. Why did you ask?
Because I was thinking that the whitest thing about me is I like the song Crocodile Rock.
Never even heard of it, bitch.
Elton John. Yeah, no, it's like probably the whitest thing other than my skin.
Yeah.
Actually, my skin's not as white as me liking that song.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that I haven't heard about it, I'm like, okay, so maybe I don't have that many white aspects about me.
I'm like positive that you've heard that song.
I don't know. I've never even heard
I'll
of it.
play it for you.
Okay. Oh.
No. You've heard it.
Yeah. That's the only part I know, I think.
That makes sense. It's not like.
And then it turns into the potential breakup song for Allie and AJ.
That's fair. Absolutely.
Surely they sampled it.
They had to. Oh my God. That's so funny.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking. We got Backlot coffee today. And I am drinking the oatmeal cookie latte. And it is so good.
Why wouldn't you get me that?
I didn't know. But here, taste it.
Okay.
It's really good. It's made with oat milk for the oat part. Because I was like, whole milk's fine. And she's like, I was like, oh, sorry. I didn't put that together. It's good, right? It doesn't really taste like an oatmeal cookie.
No. And you know what? It's so funny how the brain works. I literally have had that before and thought it doesn't taste like an oatmeal cookie.
Right. It kind of tastes just like an oat milk latte.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah, it has depth.
Yeah.
I think that probably the beans are just really good.
Yeah. I would definitely suggest it to someone.
Backlot Coffee, I don't know if they're just Chicago, but they have more than one location up here. They're like maybe a Chicago chain.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good. It's just like I don't know, like who goes to Backlot?
In my experience, hipsters, whatever hipsters are now. That's who I saw in there this morning.
A lot of beanies.
Beanies and big glasses.
And tattoos.
Yeah.
And also like Chicago dads. Every time I'm in there.
Yeah, a lot of Chicago dads.
Yes. There's like dads over the age of 35.
Yeah, just chilling.
Probably closer to 40. Just chilling in the back lot.
Yeah.
Great. We love it.
It was good. How's the chai? You got chai.
It's actually really good.
Okay.
I like what kind of milk did they use?
Oat milk.
Okay, cool. Because I was like, it tastes like probably more cinnamon cookie than yours does.
It's fucked up.
I know, sorry.
What are you gonna do?
Today's episode is a local lore. We are going to be specifically in the state of Indiana.
Why are we talking about Indiana, girl?
Because if you didn't listen to the last episode, we are going to Potato Creek State Park for the weekend of Halloween.
I feel like this might actually come out after Halloween. Or after that episode.
We've already been to Potato Creek State Park. During the episode that you never hit, the lost episode in which I did Potato Creek State Park.
It was probably our best episode too.
I know, isn't that horrible? We recorded twice. I discovered that actually Indiana is so fucking haunted and spooky and scary, which checks out because every time I've driven through there, I'm like, this is unsettling. And then actually, the last time I drove through Indiana, my apartment flooded when I got home.
Yeah, it's brave of you guys to be going again.
Yeah. So our episode is about Indiana. Should I go first?
No. I should go first.
Okay.
I should definitely go first. Okay, so for the local lore for Indiana, I chose the Slippery Noodle Inn.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I utilized hauntedhouses.com for this one. I love that you found that. Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
We'll use it forever. So, the Slippery Noodle Inn was built around 1850. It was not called the Slippery Noodle Inn back then.
It's giving brothel.
It is giving brothel. Very good.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's because it's a
Slippery noodle.
Yeah.
It's very nasty. They don't sell noodles there, ladies and gentlemen. It was built. Well,
That could be a business plan. I think you can get some udon and get your udon.
stupid.
That might be the new whitest thing about me.
It was built by, it just says Germans, to be an upscale roadhouse and bar for railroad passengers. It was called the Tremont House. The Tiger Bar and music venue stage area are the oldest parts of the Slippery Noodle Inn, over 100 years old. The brick building in the back of the property was originally built to be a stable for guests. During the time just before the Civil War, the main building was a way station for a different kind of railroad, an underground railroad. It was one of the last stops before Canada. In 1860, the bar's name was changed from the Tremont House to the Concordia House in honor of the first Lutheran immigrant ship. And around the turn of the century, it was called the Germania House, becoming a German club. During World War I, the name changed again by Louis Beck to Beck's Saloon to avoid scrutiny by authorities and people who were hostile to Germans. Before Prohibition, Walter Moore bought the property and called it Moore's Beer Tavern, producing his own beer in the basement of the tavern. And during Prohibition, the name was changed to Moore's Restaurant, though his beer was still brewed, and obviously it became a speakeasy. Obviously, we all knew that. He was determined to serve his own beer, and so he instilled pipes to like pump up his beer to the bar area.
Businessman.
Yeah, real thinker, real mover and shaker. And so he added a slaughterhouse to the business to make it like a legitimate business to hide the speakeasy. It became a favorite hangout for both Brady and Dillinger gangs, and he allowed them both to use the brick building and former stable as target practice. So you can go in there and see like bullet holes from those gangs in there still today. And as soon as Prohibition was repealed, he changed the name back to Moore's Beer Tavern. And he was like, I really liked that illegal gang shit. So he started prostitution up in the second level.
Okay.
Yeah. He was like, we're making money, baby.
If they liked it. If they didn't like it, I hope he dies. But
For sure. You know, if they were cool with it, then I'm cool with it. But if they like felt trapped, then I hate him.
Yeah.
So the bordello was open until 1953, and then it was immediately shut down after two men got into a fight over one of the girls, and one of them was stabbed to death, and the guy who killed him left the bloody dagger on the bar.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so Moore was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. After him, in 1963, the Yeagley family bought it, and it became a family business. And they just opened it as a lunch counter, and they named it the Slippery Noodle Inn.
What a stark turn.
Literally, they're like, we want families, I think.
I'm going to wait for you to read on, because I'm like, is there still prostitution?
You think there's still prostitution? No, they immediately turned the second floor rooms into storage and offices.
Okay. Creative on them to call it the Slippery Noodle.
I know. They're like, it was naughty. We'll have a little naughty.
Yeah. I like the nod to the fact that it was a brothel.
Me too. So basically it just says that the original Yeagley man passed away and his son Hal took over, and they just have continued to update it and make it a pleasant area for Indianians. Indianites? That feels wrong.
That feels better.
Okay, Indianites? Doesn't feel right.
It doesn't. It only on technicality.
I bet it's Indianians.
I bet you it's Indianans.
Oh, it's definitely Indianans. Indianans, please.
Indiana was getting you.
Really
and I'm pretty sure you're the one who went Ho Indiana on that one episode.
Who Indianians? So from 1996 to now, the Slippery Noodle Inn is best known for its blues scene. They have a huge nod to the Blues Brothers, including
Why? They're in Indiana. You know what? I don't know if the people on the pod know that Chicago and Indiana have beef, but it's one-sided because Indiana could never.
Well, because they have a big blues scene, they just have Blues Brothers competitions where, like, you know, people who
Do I know?
well, like just like what are they called?
Impersonators?
Yeah, I guess impersonators with or cover bands. What does it count if they're a movie but they also sing? Impersonating cover bands.
That's drag.
Honestly.
Indiana loves drag.
So they've got drag nights for blues. And because of the big music and live, or because of the big live music scene, they've had a lot of famous people patron there, including Harrison Ford, the Blues Brothers Band, Mickey Dolenz, Billy Joel, Spike Lee, and Neil Diamond.
Oh, okay, white people.
Not to mention, well, yeah, just like dad bands, really. This is a dad band town, it sounds like. So now I'm just going to go into people that they see.
Okay.
This site mentions a male entity that is thought to be like a caretaker, though nothing said anything about the caretaker. But he's seen in the basement wearing a pair of coveralls.
Okay.
And they say that like he's been heard as well. And they hear a lot of whispering in the basement. There was actually a time where the basement flooded, and I think it was the Yeagley family that was owning it. And with the floodwaters like left, there was a huge depression in the floor. And so he got like a contractor to come out, and he was like, something's buried there. And so he was like, so we could dig it up and figure it out, or you can pave over it. And
he was like, let's pave.
Exactly. Exactly. So they have found, but they did find like bone fragments and stuff in the basement. So they hear a lot of like whispers and stuff.
Who do you think was doing the killing?
I mean, if the gangs were allowed to like just target practice in there, I don't think like that's the only thing they probably did in there.
You're like, what else were they allowed to do?
Yeah. And the Underground Railroad like stopped there, and I'm sure there's plenty of like trauma with that as well. And a brothel. Like I'm sure a lot of people are buried down there.
You're right. So it's not necessarily like when it's points of energy like this where it's one spot where a lot of shit has gone down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's different than something just being haunted.
Right. Like there's like history just like living in there, I feel like. And so yeah, and like people have been murdered there, so there's a little bit of like the haunted thing.
You're right.
But I think there is a lot of like energy there. The second floor is also very active. People feel cold spots, they're touched, and they can hear like female voices. There is a male cowboy entity, because I feel like there's always kind of a male cowboy entity. Is my microphone sounding weird to you?
I felt like I heard echo a minute ago.
Yeah, me too. It was weird. I think it's okay now.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, they say that it could be the man that was killed in the knife fight, but he's been seen on the second floor, the cowboy. And then they see a woman occasionally on the second floor, both on the second floor, or you can see her from the first floor, like outside. So now I'm going to do a couple of the stories I found. Real life ghost rolls.
You can't stay there anymore because I guess they were made into offices.
Yeah, no, it's no longer an inn. Wine bottles in the basement have been found like open, both in the basement and in certain rooms on the second floor. I'm not saying it can't be a ghost, but I'm also not saying it could be just like
it could be someone with a problem.
Yeah, someone could be like having a
hard
time.
day.
But one employee did talk about how she had to go upstairs for something, and all the employees say like the second floor is pretty creepy. And so she walked past a room that the door was closed, and to like go to a door at the very end of the hallway. And when she was walking back, the door was open. And then she had to go back up, and a lady walked out of the room and just stared at her, and she had black pit eyes. And the girl just like went back downstairs and said, I'm never going up there again.
You.
Me. I wouldn't have gone back up after the door thing.
Yeah.
So that was one. There was a wedding held there because it also is a like event spot.
Okay.
And the limo driver was sitting there waiting for whatever to take them wherever. And he asked, I think, like either the bride or groom or someone, like if they had hired an extra photographer, because while he was sitting there waiting for them, he saw like a woman on the second floor balcony, like looking down and staring at them.
The women from the brothel have a huge presence here.
Yeah, yeah. Which makes sense.
So then I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah, because it's definitely not sounding like they loved their life. There was a little girl at a party that was being held there, came crying to her parents and saying that the man in the corner scared her. But the adults never saw anyone. And employees also report hearing a lot of footsteps and seeing things that were, like I said, all closed up for the night, like opening back up and stuff like that. One guy was closing and he had turned off all the lights and locked a bunch of like the outer doors into different rooms that they just lock up.
He's got the worst job.
Yeah. And he said that when he went back outside, he could see from the outside that all the rooms that he had locked from that other side of the door, all those lights were back on.
No, ma'am. That's okay. That's spooky.
That is spooky.
Fuck. Because that's truly unexplainable.
For sure. Because like,
would you get married in a haunted place?
Because
this is an event venue.
I think so.
That could be cool.
I would, because having gotten married, you're not really like alone on the day ever. Like I never had one moment. So
yeah. I mean, I will say your day was jam fucking packed.
It was jam packed. I mean, that's how weddings go, though.
Yes, I know.
And we had a 5 o'clock. People have morning weddings. I'm like, when do you get up? Midnight?
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah. I think I would get married at a haunted venue. That's probably the only thing I would do. Because, like, even when I went to the bathroom, I had someone helping me, you know?
You had the girl. You're going to piss on your dress.
But anytime, like, a birthday party, probably not. Because I would have, like, I'd be alone at some point, and I'd be like, I don't want the ghost to get me.
Like, you had an October wedding, and you definitely played into that with, like, Happily Ever After, and there were the, like, little pumpkins, I remember.
Yeah, it was cute.
Little white ones,
right? Yeah.
Cute. I love that. And like the outside was very visible. We had to be indoors, unfortunately, because of the rain.
Yeah.
And the weather. It was freezing.
You know what? I think it worked out better though. I think it looked really pretty in that place.
And I liked the background and like the water flowing and the colors and stuff. But I did think I'm like, damn, people who have Halloween weddings, it'd be kind of fun to get married in like a haunted.
So we actually, we took that Saturday, Friday. The next one was Halloween. Yeah. We were going to do Halloween, but it happened to be like on our anniversary, which was cool. And it also happened to be, I had a lot of cousins with kids and kids weren't invited to the wedding.
And you want them to have Halloween.
Yeah.
That's smart. That's good thinking.
So
I thought your anniversary was on the 16th.
It is.
Like
that's when
both
we decided to when we started to date. That's why we chose it. It was like, okay, that's kind of perfect. I would have loved a Halloween wedding though. I would have absolutely. And like people would, you know me. Halloween's my favorite. Mm-hmm. I make my birthday Halloween.
You know me, she says to the co-host of her ghost pod. You know me. I love a ghost.
Best friend of 10 years. You know me. I'm a love of Halloween. What is happening?
I actually don't know, and it's freaking me out. You want to know why?
Why?
Because something happened last night.
Shut up.
While I was on, FaceTime with Muddy Ed.
Tell me.
You don't want to know.
I do want to know.
Look at we're at my place today.
We're at my place.
And it is spooky.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the upstairs, which is where, if you remember, there were footsteps on the stairs. And I wonder if we'll hear them today. What is that?
What is what?
I heard static in my headphones. That's why I'm like, maybe we shouldn't.
No, I want to know.
The room across from us is Matiela's old like childhood bedroom, and there was you can go back and listen to that episode. But last night I was FaceTiming Matiel, and I'm so glad they were there to witness this. I bent down to pick up. I was in the kitchen. I was making food. I bent down to pick up the cat and like bring her to the camera to show Mariel because I had like the phone set. And a cabinet door swung open and hit me so hard in the head. I'm getting scary tears. I set the cat down. I got up and I was like, what the fuck just happened? And Mariel's mouth was wide open. Like jaw dropped. We were like just for I would say probably 10 whole seconds of silence just staring at each other. Like I don't know what to do right now.
Yeah, what did you do? Did you stay down there?
I lived down there. I closed the cabinet and then I was like, oh, my stomach.
Okay. I thought it was footsteps, girl. I got you oat milk.
It was a coffee. I closed the cabinet door and I was like, let me not even acknowledge this shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I probably left that open. I said out loud to the room. I'm like, I probably left that open. And Mario was like, and I was like, anyway, I'm going to go back to cooking in my home. And then that was it. And so then I was like, last night I slept with the light on because I got spooked.
Smart. That was spooky. That's spooky.
That was downstairs too.
Yuck. The last thing I'm going to say is that the current like manager there says that everywhere she goes, it feels wrong. She's like, it just feels wrong in here. And so when she's alone there, she talks out loud and very us is like, it's just me. I'm just doing some paperwork. Whether you're here or not, we're good.
You do you, I'll do me.
We are fine. So, yeah, that is the story of the Slippery Noodle Inn. Love the name.
Where is it again?
It's in Indiana.
We're in Indiana.
It's in Indianapolis.
Okay, it's in Indianapolis.
Yeah. So head on over there. I don't know what kind of food, not noodles, but probably just normal American food. Sandwiches and soup, I'm assuming.
If we're
pot roast.
I was about to say if we're ever in Indiana.
We're literally gonna be.
I know.
We could get lunch there.
Oh, we could.
Okay.
We could.
Where is Indianapolis?
It is like an hour and a half into Indiana.
Well, if we pass it, we should do it.
We probably do. Anyway.
So yeah. And they've got like really cool live, like they're known for live music. So go.
Sick.
It says booze, blues, and bullet holes.
Whoa. That's a very Chicago thing to do.
Literally. They're trying, but they can never be.
They're trying and I see you, but also stop.
Did I ever tell you? I didn't. This happened. So my dad's anniversary, like the anniversary of his death was Wednesday.
Looking at Michelle's post, I almost cried.
Yeah.
That made me so, I can't even think about it actually because I'll start crying.
The day felt a lot like the day he died too, because we were at her volleyball competition, and it was like very sunny and warm, but still like cold. It was just like was very reminiscent. I forget who I was talking about it recently with. I think it was Maggie, because they were both playing volleyball that day, and I was like, can I tell you something? I was like, I thought Michelle got hit by a bus. When my mom got that phone call and started crying, I was like, she got hit by a bus. Isn't that funny?
You went right to, it's Michelle?
I literally thought Michelle got hit by I didn't think she was dead. I thought she was like in the hospital because she got hit by a bus.
Why Michelle?
I think we were walking to the car after the long competition, and I saw the row of buses, and
you were like, surely.
I was like, someone's getting hit by that bus. And so then my mom got that call, and I was like, oh my God, it happened.
No, just your dad.
Just my dad. Dead on the floor.
At his job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so I went to the cemetery, and I was just chilling, talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sitting there, just talking, chatting, what I do at his cemetery. And like a ladybug landed on me.
Hmm.
And I was like, I flicked it off. I was like, oh my God, if that was you, I'm so sorry. I was like, I just don't love bugs on me, but like, I'm sorry. I was like, that could be cute. You could be a ladybug. Like, you can land on me. And then like, I was talking some more and a spider landed on me. And I was like, ew. I was like, do not do spiders. I was like,
He was like, oh, you didn't like that one?
yeah. I was like, you can come back as a bug. You can come back as a ladybug, but please do not do spiders. Later on, a huge spider landed on this leg. Girl, I've never even seen a spider like this. And I flicked. I was like, okay. I was like, seriously? Do not do spiders. I can't handle spiders. I was like, do a ladybug. That is fine.
He's like, no, I know you got a ghost pod.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, girl. So I left.
What's your dad's name?
Mike.
Mike was over here testing you, bitch.
Girl. So after I go to the cemetery, I like went to Target. I went somewhere else to like return something. I'm at home. I'm making some food. And I had a shirt that had like a tie on it. And the tie like came over here. There was a spider in the tie. And it was still alive. But it was like stuck in there. Because like the wind kept falling. And I was like, bugs are falling on me. I know it. And I was like, that is it. Yeah. I was like, no more. And then I was like, we're not doing that. No more bugs. Like, it's not funny. And I was like, and then just in case, because like spiders are not cute and friendly and whatever, I was just like, nothing is allowed in this home except love and light and me.
Oh, you got scared that something else got. I feel like you can even tell just from the pictures you guys are posting that he's like this big like jokester.
No, 100% he would do shit like that. But I was like, just in case, nothing is allowed in here except for me.
You know, he was like, oh,
I know. I was like, fuck you. But I was like, we're not playing with spiders. I'm not gonna have spiders be falling on me all the time.
Yeah.
So that was a little spooky thing. It might not be spooky. It might just be that I was under a tree on a windy day, but I did not like it.
Pick a different bug, sir. Please.
Literally any other bug.
Hi, sir. Nice to meet you. Maybe like moths.
I don't love moths.
Okay.
Butterflies?
It's cold, so I don't want you to be disappointed.
I don't honestly need bugs as a sign.
That's so real. So, like, not bugs.
Not bugs. Honestly,
maybe
you're
like
good.
Fruit.
We love fruit.
Okay.
A banana?
Oh, man.
No?
How often are you going to see a fucking banana?
I don't know. I buy them weekly, so pretty often. But anyway, yeah. So, that was it. A little light humor for your day.
So it's gonna get real dark.
It's just trying to prolong it, trying to prevent it.
I researched.
Did you do this last night?
Mm-hmm.
You think that's why your fucking cabinet opened?
I did it. It was after that.
You were like, I'll show you.
I mean, I was just researching. I wasn't like saying anything out loud. I think I wouldn't be able to like listen to someone talk about this out loud.
For sure. So you're just gonna speak it out loud, and then I'm gonna leave.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take a nap.
I'm gonna shut down until someone's home.
Thank you. So my local lore is called the Demon House, also known as the Amon's Haunting Case. And if you're from Indiana, you definitely know about it. But if you're not, this is one of the most documented demonic experiences on record.
Are you crazy?
I know.
I'm glad we're not in my house today.
But you're gonna be editing this in your house.
I'm going to a coffee shop.
There are so many witnesses. The timeline of this was so crazy, and so intense. Like I literally have 3 pages of notes, and I'm still gonna read it off of a thing. It's very, very, very well documented. It's so well documented that there are 800 separate pages of police reports, Department of Child Service reports, all kinds of shit. Like, damn. 800 pages of reports on this place.
Ugh, I got chills already.
It is in Gary, Indiana.
Fucking Gary.
It's so close.
That's so close.
Right over the border. I believe this house was even featured on Ghost Adventures at one point, and it was likely featured because I kept saying things that Zach Baggins bought it.
Oh, what? So it's really haunted.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's like a good ghost hunter, but he loves spooky shit.
Yeah.
I do think he's a good ghost collector.
That's a good ghost collector is a good like name for a movie or something. So what's disgusting is that this happened fairly recently.
No, really?
Yes.
Oh, hell no. I'm uncomfortable.
A woman and 3 children who claim to be possessed by demons. A 9-year-old boy walking backward up a wall in the presence of a family case manager and hospital nurse. Gary Police Captain Charles Austin said it was the strangest story he ever heard. Austin, a 36-year veteran of the Gary Police Department, said he initially thought the Indianapolis resident, Latoya Ammons, and her family concocted an elaborate tale as a way to make money. But after several visits to their home and interviews with witnesses, Austin said simply, "I am a believer." Not everyone involved with the family was inclined to believe this story, and many readers will find Ammon's supernatural claims impossible to accept. So that is an overarching theme of this is, do you believe her?
When was this again?
2011.
Damn, way too close.
Oh, there's a police siren.
Oh my god.
But these headphones distort sound, so I was like, what the fuck is that? Whatever the cause of the creepy occurrences that befell the family, whether they were seized by systematic delusion or demonic possession, it led to one of the most unusual cases ever handled by the Department of Child Services. Many of the events are detailed in nearly 800 pages, so as I just said, of official records. And this is everything that I'm getting is from the Indianapolis Star.
Okay.
Ammons, who swears by her story, has been unusually open. While she spoke on the condition her children not be interviewed or named, she signed releases letting the Star review medical, psychological, and official records that are not open to the public and not always flattering.
Damn.
Furthermore, the family story is made only more bizarre because it involves a Department of Child Services or DCS intervention, a string of psychological evaluations, and ultimately a series of exorcism. It's a tale, they say, that started with flies. In November of 2011, Ammon's family moved into a rental house on Carolina Street in Gary. Quiet lane lined with small one-story homes. Big black flies suddenly swarmed their screened-in porch in December, despite the winter chill. This is not normal, Ammon's mother, Rosa Campbell, remembers thinking. We killed them and killed them and killed them, but they kept coming back. Dude, you moved in November, and December there are swarms of black flies.
Yeah, that's like one of the earliest signs.
That would send me over the edge immediately. Oh, God. After midnight, Campbell and Ammons both said that they occasionally heard the steady clump of footsteps climbing up the basement stairs and the creak of the door opening between the basement and kitchen.
Ew.
No one was there.
This is your house.
Even after they locked the door, the noise continued. Campbell said she awoke one night and saw a shadowy figure of a man pacing in her living room. She leapt out of bed to investigate and found large, wet boot prints. On March 10th of 2012, Campbell said the family's unease turned into fear. It was about 2 a.m. Normally, Campbell, Ammons, and her children would have been asleep, but they were mourning the death of a loved one with a group of friends. Ammons, who was in Campbell's bedroom, startled everyone by screaming, "Mama, Mama!" Campbell said she ran into her bedroom where her then 12-year-old granddaughter and a friend were staying. Ammons and Campbell said the 12-year-old was levitating above the bed unconscious.
What?
According to their account of events, Ammons and several others surrounded the girl, praying. Campbell said she remembers being terrified. I thought, what's going on? Why is this happening? Eventually, her granddaughter descended onto the bed. The girl woke up with no memory of what happened. Campbell and Ammons said that the people who were visiting that night refused to ever return.
Yeah, same girl.
I was about to be like, of course.
So weird. They never wanted to come back into the house ever again.
Campbell says she remembers telling her daughter, "We need help. We need to talk to someone who knows how to deal with it." Campbell and Ammons said that they didn't know exactly what it was, but they believed it was something supernatural. That reminds me of when I was talking about the basement, and whenever you were like, what did you guys say? Did you say like demon? And I would always go like, no, we would always say like whatever's in the basement.
Right.
They called local churches, but most refused to listen. Eventually, after listening to Campbell and Ammons talk about the house and visiting it, officials at one church told them that the Carolina Street House had spirits in it. They recommended the family clean the home with bleach and ammonia and then use oil to draw crosses on every door and window. At the church's suggestion, Ammons said she poured olive oil on her 3 children's hands and feet and smeared oil in the shape of crosses on their foreheads. Campbell and Ammons also told the Star that they reached out to 2 clairvoyants who said the family's home was besieged by more than 200 demons.
What?
Yes.
So, wait, how'd they get that information?
So here comes like where you'll start to hear, I don't know if they say it in this article, but commonly people in the area or people who know about this just call it a portal.
And people were just like, we can't help you. We don't know what
they refuse to help.
Damn.
Their explanation made sense to Campbell and Ammons, they say, because it meshed with their Christian faith. So here it is. So this is where the do you believe her comes in. I mean, let me just keep reading. The best thing you can do is move, Ammons remembers the clairvoyance telling her. But moving wasn't an option for the cash-strapped family. That's what I always think that too. Like, how come everybody's always like, you have to just leave? Sometimes you don't have the fucking money to leave.
I'm leaving. I'll sleep in my car.
True. That you would like rather sleep in your car than be.
Yeah, I'd rather like be.
That's not everybody.
No, and like having all those kids, like right. I could see that, but like
3 kids.
For me, I would wander the streets in my car. But that's true. Like, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that, or I'd be fortunate enough to like get a new house or live with my mom, or so, you know what I mean?
And like, she's coming from an extremely religious background as it is.
Yeah.
I'll say off jump, and you guys don't have to base your opinion on mine, but I feel like there's a combination of things happening. One of them being that she is so eccentric and kind of weird that's why it's hard to believe her.
Oh, really?
Yes, but all of her stories have witnesses, dude.
Yeah. Like, so you're saying she's like enthralled in the church, so it's like,
yeah,
it's a little hokey pokey.
Yeah.
Or it sounds like it sometimes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I also think that that's not fair because not everybody has the same background.
For sure.
Anyway, instead of moving, Ammons said that she took to the clairvoyant's advice and made an altar in the basement. Ammons covered an end table with a white sheet and then placed a white candle and a statue of Mary, Joseph, and Jesus on it. She opened a Bible to Psalm 91. She said she and another person donned white t-shirts and wound white scarves around their heads. So do you see what I'm saying?
Right. Like, I don't know that this is something that you are equipped to handle.
Also, on a clairvoyant's advice, they burned sage throughout the house, starting upstairs and working their way down. The smoke was so thick they could hardly breathe. Psalm 91 is this, by the way. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday.
Oh my God.
Ammon said nothing happened for 3 days, and then it got significantly worse. So 3 days of peace, and then, but the number 3?
Oh, spooky. I don't like this story.
The family said demons possessed Ammons and her children.
What? That's such a fucking jump.
Then ages 7, 9, and 12. The kids' eyes bulged, evil smiles crossed their face, and their voices deepened every time it happened. Campbell said the demons didn't affect her because she was, basically that she had been so long in the church or whatever. But I feel like it's giving my grandma who was like, no, it's fine. Like, I just ignore it.
So Ammons is the daughter, is like the woman, and then Campbell's her mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ammon said she felt weak, lightheaded, and warm when she was possessed. Her body shook, and she said she felt out of control. You can tell it's different, something supernatural. The youngest boy, then 7, sat in a closet talking to a boy that no one else could see.
Ew, hate that.
The other boy, her son, was describing what it felt like to be killed.
Ew, oh my God.
Campbell said that the 7-year-old once flew out of the bathroom as if he'd been thrown, and a headboard once smacked into Ammon's daughter, causing a wound that needed stitches. The 12-year-old would later tell the mental health professionals that she sometimes felt as if she were being choked and held down so she couldn't speak or move. She said she heard a voice say she'd never see her family again and wouldn't live another 20 minutes.
Okay, I hate this.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to say, that's another reason. Like, it's better to have your kids living out of a car, I think, than have them, like, fighting for their lives every single day.
I think that, I agree with you, but I think that a lot of people are like, and I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but if you think that your faith is strong enough,
right?
Sometimes people think that they're being weak with the Lord.
Right.
Like, I have so much faith in you that I'm going to stay here. Like, that's where this gets hokey pokey for me, because it's like, you are so religious and so firm in this, like, staunch Christian belief that you're at this point endangering your kids.
Right.
You know? And then she does that weird shit with, like, wrapping the scarf around her head. I'm like, what is going on? So I think that she's fucking weird, and all this shit's happening, and then it's, like, hard to believe you.
Right. And she's, like, playing with it, because I feel like she doesn't have the right tools to fight 200 demons out of her house, you know? And so instead she's just like she's Zach Bagginsing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally. Okay. Some nights were so bad that the family slept at a hotel. Finally, in desperation, they went to their family physician, Dr. Jeffrey Onyewukwu. Let me pronounce this correctly. Onyewukwu. Finally, in desperation, they went to their family physician, Dr. Jeffrey Onyewukwu. I did it again. Dr. Jeffrey Onyewukwu on April 19th in 2012. 2012 was a bad year for them. Ammon said that she told him what they were going through, hoping he might understand. The doctor told the Star it was bizarre. 20 years and I've never heard anything like that in my life, he said. I was scared myself when I walked into that room. Their physician. Ew. He said he would not speak in more detail unless Ammon's had psychiatric clearance for the waiver of confidentiality she had signed. In his medical notes about the visit, the doctor wrote, delusions of ghosts in home and hallucinations. He also wrote, history of ghosts at home and delusional. What Ammons and Campbell say happened next was detailed in a DCS report of family case managers' interviews with medical staff.
Oh my God. I'm like cold.
Chaos erupted. Campbell and Ammon's sons cursed the doctor in demonic voices, raging at him.
What?
Medical staff said the youngest boy was lifted and thrown into the wall with nobody touching him. I'm getting scared tears.
The doctor went to their home.
This is the grandma.
The doctor went to the home.
Mm-hmm.
House call. Okay.
I don't think they're at the hospital. It doesn't really say.
Yeah.
The boys abruptly passed out and wouldn't come to, Campbell added. She cradled one boy in her arms. Ammons held the other. Someone from the doctor's office called 911. Oh.
So they're at the doctor's office?
And they're calling cops.
But, that means the demons are, with them now.
Yeah. Well, 200 of them. Some of them are going to get attached.
Yeah, they literally had... Matt and I were talking about this. You have, one free day, right? You've got one day when you move into a house that's, fucked up like that. You have one free day where no matter what, you can leave. And the ghost to the demon, whatever, is chill. This is my place. Get out. After that, it all depends on the temperament of the spirit or the thing.
Totally.
It could be the second day in your house and you can't leave anymore. Or it could be a month later and then they're like, okay, now I'm going to attach myself to you. But you've got that one day where they're in your dreams, where they open your door, where they push you down. And you can be like, you know what? Thank you. And
goodbye.
It's yours. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I definitely feel that. And I would add that you also have one time, not even a whole day, you have one instance in which maybe you have felt totally normal, you haven't even considered that there could be a ghost in your house, and some weird shit happens. look at this fucking squirrel right here torments my cat.
Ew.
He's huge.
He looks like a human trapped in a squirrel body.
Maybe he is. Squirrelio. But when the day some weird shit happens, you have to acknowledge it that one time.
Yeah.
And go, actually, no, you don't fucking live here.
Right.
Like, I live here. I've
Right.
been here. I'm not going to do this. Because if you start, I think that the mistakes that I've made in where I've lived is just being like, that was weird. And like not acknowledging it off jump. The first time I'm fucking acknowledging this, I'm asserting myself over you. And then I'm not going to acknowledge it anymore.
Right.
So that's my advice to the people of the pod. As someone who's consistently living in haunted homes. What did I leave off? Okay, so the boys abruptly passed out and the wouldn't come to. Someone from the doctor's office called 911. Their physician said 7 or 8 police officers and multiple ambulances showed up. They couldn't figure out exactly what was happening, he recalled. Police and emergency personnel took the boys to Methodist Hospital's campus in Gary. Ammon said personnel laughed at her, desired to anoint her sons in olive oil. I couldn't talk to them, she said, so I talked to God. The boys woke up in the hospital. The older boy, then 9, acted rationally, but the youngest screamed and thrashed. Campbell said it took 5 men to hold him down. Meanwhile, someone called DCS and asked the agency to investigate Ammons for possible child abuse or neglect. Mm-hmm. The caller, who was not named in the DCS report, speculated that Ammons might have mental illness. The person believed the children were performing for Ammons. She was encouraging their behavior. DCS family case manager Valerie Washington was asked to handle the initial investigation. She gave the following account to police in her intake report. Hospital personnel examined Ammons and her children and found them to be healthy and free of bruises or marks. A hospital psychiatrist evaluated Ammons and determined she was of sound mind.
Okay.
That's okay. That's it. That's
right.
The receipt for me. Washington interviewed the family in the hospital. She spoke with Ammons. The 7-year-old boy started to growl, his teeth showing. His eyes rolled back in his head. The boy locked his hands around his older brother's throat and refused to let go until adult pried his hands off of him. Later that evening, Washington and registered nurse Willie Lee Walker brought the 2 boys into a small exam room for an interview. The 7-year-old stared into his brother's eyes and began to growl again. "It's time to die," the boy said in a deep, unnatural voice. "I will kill you." The youngest boy spoke. The older brother started headbutting Campbell in the stomach. Campbell grabbed her grandson's hands and started praying. What happened next would rattle the witnesses.
So scared.
Me too. And some of it would offer not only evidence, but proof of paranormal activity.
What?
According to Washington's original DCS report, an account corroborated by Walker, the nurse, the 9-year-old had a weird grin and walked backward up a wall to the ceiling. He then flipped over Campbell, landing on his feet. He never let go of his grandmother's hand. He walked up the wall, flipped over her, and stood there, Walker told the Star. There's no way he could have done that. Later, police asked Washington whether the boy had to run up the wall as though performing an acrobatic trick. I'm sobbing. No, Washington told them. She said the boy glided backward across the floor, the wall, and the ceiling, according to the police report.
Okay. And I saw the picture
Oh my God.
of the grandma, and she doesn't look like someone that's like gonna be holding up the grandson, like, cause
no, she's not. She's clearly like an old lady,
right? Cause like I feel like that's the only potential thing that could have happened. Like if it weren't real, that she could like, if he happened to be really great at acrobatics.
I'm like, I can't even like get it out. He great at acrobatics. He walked backwards up the wall. He didn't even walk.
No, the gliding thing, that's hard because I'm thinking like the only thing that could have happened that wasn't paranormal is that like the grandma could be like holding his weight, and he's like pushing into it and walking. Because she said they never let go of their hands,
Right.
And so like that's the only thing. But if she describes it as like gliding and stuff, like I've tried to like do little acrobatic moves with my nieces. Like they're small and it's not smooth.
It's also not easy to hold someone against the wall.
Right, without like someone being like, you're definitely holding that kid up there.
Yeah. When it said that, first of all, this is corroborated. Like people have
these are medical professionals being
watched
like,
him
something fucking happened in there.
watched him glide backwards across the ground, up the wall onto the ceiling.
How come I've never heard of how come this isn't bigger news? They're hiding it from us.
I literally I can't deal because the first time I read that, I didn't read it in an article that was this detailed. I read it in another article that was like, many accounts say that they watched him walk backwards up the wall.
Right.
And it wasn't like, no, girl.
No, he floated up the wall.
He floated up the wall the whole time. Now that makes me feel like she wasn't holding him. He was gripping her and like walking across. Anyway. And remember, he's still like feral right now. Like he's still having that like attack or whatever he's having. Yeah. Okay, so the last thing I said was, no, Washington told them. She said the boy glided backward on the floor, wall, and ceiling.
Ugh.
Washington did not respond to the star's request for comment. But she told police that she was scared when it happened and ran out of the room. As for Walker, Washington said, he ran out of the room with me. We didn't know what was going on, Walker told the Star. That was crazy. I was like, everybody got to go. According to Washington's report, they told the doctor what happened. The doctor, who did not believe them, asked the boy to walk up the wall again. Walker said he told the doctor he doubted the boy could repeat it. This kid was not himself when he did that, Walker said. The boy said he didn't remember what happened and couldn't do it, according to Washington's report. Walker, who said he previously believed in demons and spirits, thought the boy's behavior had some demonic spirit to it, but also was the result of mental illness. See, it's going. Everybody is like,
everyone's like, well, it can't be.
Yeah.
It can't just be.
Yeah. A police report quoted Washington saying she believed there could be an evil influence affecting the family.
Ew, I'm just thinking he's got like the crazy grin on his face.
His eyes rolled back and his teeth were out and he was growling.
And he's just like smiling while he floats up the wall. That's like burned in my brain and I want it out. Seriously though, like if you all of a sudden like floated up the wall and did a little jig on the ceiling, like I too would have been like, she's mentally ill because I definitely didn't just see that.
Yeah, like the layers to this is so complicated. It's like, do I believe her? And here are the reasons I don't, which are legit reasons to not believe her. And then you get 800 pages of people being like, I don't know if I believe her, but also I did watch that little boy walk up the wall. And he didn't even walk. He literally like slid up the wall.
Yeah.
So he was just getting like drawn backwards and then up the... Okay. Ammon said she spent the night at the hospital with her 7-year-old while Campbell took Ammon's daughter and older son to a relative's home.
I wouldn't want that kid in my house.
The next day was Ammon's youngest son's 8th birthday. Ammon said DCS officials asked Campbell to bring the older children back to the hospital, presumably to talk about what happened. The family celebrated the boy's birthday with singing and eating a miniature cake. Then Ammon said Washington told them children wouldn't be going home. DCS took the emergency step of ordering custody of the children without a court order.
Damn.
All of the children were experiencing spiritual and emotional distress, Washington wrote in the DCS form. Ammons told the Star that she and her children cried because they didn't want to be separated. We'd already been through so much and fought so hard for our lives, she recalled. It was obvious we were a team and we were beating it, whatever we were fighting.
Are you beating it?
I know. We made it through together as a team. They separated us. Do you want to see the house?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It
is.
What?
I didn't look at this initially.
Yeah.
I'm crying.
I don't want to see it.
It's just a photo of the house, and then I was like, is that somebody in the window? Sure as shit, the caption says that a figure appears to show itself in the window at the right. This photo was taken by the police.
Shut the fuck up. That's so
sobbing.
I'm sobbing, and I'm not even looking at the picture. I won't even look at your phone from the angle it's at right now.
No, I'm sobbing thinking about this. Like, okay, so there's I'm team there are ghosts, and she's crazy.
All of a sudden, you're like, no, I'm convinced.
Because
you did.
Hello?
You were like, is that someone in the window?
Yeah.
Before you even read it. Oh my God, that's horrifying.
It is someone in the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a police photo, that's enough for me. You know what I mean?
It's so fucking weird because it's not a scary picture, but I know what went on in that house.
For sure.
Like, it's just a suburban house.
I know you are fighting every fiber of your being not to flip your phone towards me.
You wouldn't be able to see it. You'd have to zoom in.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So let me turn it down, actually, just in case. Because I don't want you to be like, I don't want to see it. The Reverend Michael Magno was leading Bible study in his living room the morning of April 12th. It's only April 2012. He received a call from a hospital chaplain. Magno had been the priest at St. Stephen Martyr Parish in Maryville for more than 10 years, but had never received a request like this one. The chaplain asked him to perform an exorcism on Ammon's 9-year-old son.
Damn.
Magno agreed to interview the family after Sunday Mass.
The chaplain at the hospital. So, I'm sorry to keep interrupting, but it just seems like more is going on because, professionals, the chaplain at the hospital has to, talk to the hospital. He can't just, be on a crusade on his own. You know what I mean? And so, it does seem like people are like, well, I mean, it couldn't hurt.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, realistically, when people are very religious, I too, extremely religious, putting white bandanas around their head and oiling things and saying prayers, thinking they are doing something. Yeah, I tend to be like, well, you might be a little off, but
they're doing what they know.
But also just I feel like it just happens to be a very religious person stuck in a very unbelievable situation because anyone who's there's 200 demons in my home, anyone's going to sound crazy. Anyone who's something's happening where you can't medically or scientifically prove it, immediately you're going to be like, you're crazy. You're obviously mentally ill because that's the only
explanation.
That's our only comfortable explanation without having an explanation. We're like, well, obviously you're just crazy.
Of course.
So
I think that they're looking for reason in a reasonless world.
I think, yeah, exactly.
Magno agreed to interview the family after Sunday Mass a few days later. The first step, Magno said, was ruling out natural causes for what Ammons and her family said they were experiencing. He visited Ammons and Campbell in the Carolina Street home on April 22nd. For 2 hours, Ammons and Campbell detailed phenomena for him. Then Campbell interrupted the interview to point out the flickering light in the bathroom.
Oh, my God. Wait.
He went in their home.
Are they all back together? They're not separated anymore?
No. It's Ammons and Campbell right now.
Oh, the kids are still gone.
Yeah. The flickering stopped each time Magno walked over to investigate, which he attributed to a demonic presence.
He was like, yep, sounds about right.
Yeah. It must be scared of me, he later told the Star. The interview was interrupted again when Campbell pointed out Venetian blinds swinging in the kitchen, even though there's no current.
I'm so cold.
Magno also said he saw wet footprints throughout the living room.
Ew.
Ammons complained about having a headache. Magno said that when he placed a crucifix to her head, she began convulsing uncontrollably. After a 4-hour interview, Magno said he was convinced that the family was being tormented by demons. He also said he believed there were ghosts in the house. Damn, double whammy.
Double homicide.
Double homicide. Magno blessed the house before he left, praying, reading from the Bible, and sprinkling holy water in each room. He told Ammons and Campbell to leave because it wasn't safe. They temporarily moved in with a relative. Less than a week later, the two women were back on Carolina Street to let Washington, the DCS family case manager, check the condition of the home. Washington asked a Lake County police officer to come with her. Two other officers, one each from Gary and Hammond police departments, asked to join them out of professional curiosity.
Yeah, see this shit.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I'm fucking going.
Yeah.
Ammons refused to go inside, but Campbell agreed to accompany the group. Ammons' kids were still in DCS custody. The main floor had 3 bedrooms, a living room, 1 bathroom, hardwood floors, and an open-style kitchen. A door in the kitchen led to the basement with concrete floors. Directly under the stairs was a dirt floor. The concrete around it was jagged, as though it had been broken. The makeshift altar Ammons created was still in place, along with rings of salt she had poured against the basement walls to dissuade the demons. Campbell told officers that the demons seemed to emanate from beneath the stairs. Literally my old home.
Ew.
Austin, the Gary police captain, was one of those officers. He later told the Star he believed in ghosts and the supernatural, but said he didn't believe in demons. Austin said he changed his mind after visiting the Carolina Street house. Talking to the mic.
Oh my God.
During the interview with Campbell, one of the officers' audio recorders malfunctioned, according to Austin and Hammond police records. The power light flashed to indicate the batteries were dying, even though the officer had put fresh batteries that day. Another officer recorded audio, and when he played it back, he heard an unknown voice whisper, "Hey."
Ew.
According to the Lake County police records. That officer also took photos of the house. In one photo of the basement stairs, there's a cloudy white image in the upper right-hand corner. When an officer enlarged the photo, that cloud appeared to resemble a face. The enlargement also revealed a second green image that police say looked like a female.
Vomit.
Austin said photos he snapped with his iPhone also seemed to have strange silhouettes in them. The radio in his police-issued Ford malfunctioned on the way home.
Oh, man, they attached to him, too.
Later, Austin said the garage at his Gary home would not open.
Fuck, you know what? You
Yeah.
got too curious. You fucked around and now you found out.
Even though the power was on everywhere else. Austin said the driver's seat in his personal 2005 Infiniti also started moving backward and forward on its own. He said the car was checked at a dealership and the mechanic told him that the motor on the driver's seat was broken, which the mechanic said could have caused a distraction leading to an accident. Austin said he found himself starting to believe Ammons' claims of paranormal activity, but the mental health professionals evaluating Ammons and her children remained skeptical.
Damn.
The minute I get in my car and the fucking passenger seat is moving backward and forward,
Yeah.
I'm a believer.
I'm a believer. Also, I'm out.
I'm out. I'm actually quitting and I'm leaving the state. Again, in April 2012, DCS petitioned Lake Juvenile Court for temporary wardship of the 3 children, and their request was granted.
Damn.
Well, they're in Indiana.
Yeah.
DCS found that Ammons neglected her children's education by not having them in school regularly. The agency made the same finding in 2009. Ammons told Washington that there were times she couldn't send the kids to school because the spirits would make them sick or they would be up all night without sleep. The DCS temporarily placed her daughter and older son at St. Joseph's home in East Chicago. The Ammons' youngest son was sent to Christian Haven in Wheatfield for psychiatric evaluation. Clinical psychologist Stacy Wright, who evaluated Ammons' youngest son, said the boy tended to act possessed when he was challenged or redirected. In her evaluation, Wright wrote that he seemed coherent and logical, except when he spoke about the demons. It was then that the 8-year-old stories became bizarre, Wright said. He changed the subject, quizzing Wright on math problems and asking her about outer space. "Can you die if you go to space?" he asked. "How do you get to space? Do you have to wear a helmet and suit?" Wright believed the 8-year-old did not suffer from a true psychiatric disorder. Clinical psychologist Joel Swartz, who evaluated Ammons' daughter and older son, came to a similar conclusion. Ammons' daughter told Schwartz that she saw shadowy figures in the Carolina Street home. She said she also said she twice went into trances. Ammons' older son told Schwartz that the doors would slam and stuff would move around. Ammons was also examined several times by psychologists who said she was guarded but did not seem to be experiencing symptoms of psychosis or thought disorder. Ammons and all 3 kids continued to insist that they were possessed by demons.
You know, I am happy that none of them are placed in like a psychiatric hospital or anything. Like,
wasn't the one?
oh,
The
it did sound like the son was, because he's the one like showing like possessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, to talk about ghosts and to talk about like, oh, I can't like let my kids go to school because of the demons and stuff like that. The fact that like these people aren't immediately writing them off, they're like, you know, I'm testing them and they seem fine. Like, I mean, good for this like system wherever.
Yeah.
I didn't know Gary, Indiana had such like a decent system going
I don't know
on.
if it is.
I mean, like, it just, at least at this point in time, like, the fact that they're being taken so seriously, I feel like that'd be the fear, right? Like, I'm going to say that my house is haunted and all this stuff's happening because of that, and immediately be, like, locked up.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I hear what you're saying, that they weren't immediately, like, sent to a psychiatric ward.
Right. Like, they're being taken seriously. And I think maybe that
to some
is,
extent.
I think it's, like, probably because other people are like,
Mhm.
well, yeah, I mean, like, there's hand. That's the crazy thing, is that most of the stuff's happening, or at least enough stuff is happening in front of other people.
I know, and that's what makes the story so, like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So, essentially, all of this kind of built up into the day that they had Magno go in there and perform an exorcism, because they insisted that they were still possessed by demons.
Yeah.
And he performed 3 exorcisms.
Damn.
2 in Latin and 1 in English, and the final one being the one on Ammons herself.
Wow.
I think there's some controversy over, there's controversy over exorcisms anyway.
Right.
I know that people feel like, I actually don't know what people feel about exorcisms. I think, I know that people feel like it causes more harm than good.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they don't believe in ghosts, I think they think like mentally it's like bad.
Yeah. Okay.
What are your opinions on exorcisms?
They're scary. I don't know. I don't ever want to have to be near one.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think I ever will be near one. I won't be around it.
Well, for sure. I never like I'm just gonna volunteer to be in a room or anything.
True.
Yeah, those churches that like perform them in front of everyone like on the daily, like that's just wild.
He ultimately performed 3 major exorcisms on Ammons, 2 in English, and the last one in Latin. Oh, okay, I flipped him. In June 2012 at his Maryville church. During each, Magno said he praised God and condemned the devil. He pressed a crucifix against Ammon's head as he spoke. I'm not going to read this out loud.
Okay. Did he say like words?
Yes, it's like what he said.
Okay, I don't want to. Yeah,
No.
we don't need to bring that into the world here. You guys can look it up.
Yeah. 2 police officers who had kept in touch with Magno since the home investigation stood nearby in case Ammons needed to be restrained. I remember I was hurting all over from inside out, she remembered. I'm trying to do my best and be strong. Ew. Okay, so some of this I'm not willing to read out loud. It was a very long and complex process that he did with her. He was asking her to name the demons if she could.
Ew.
And so like you can cast out the individual demons that are doing this, and like if there's 200 of them, no way she knows the fucking all 200 of them. Apparently
like a roster.
She wrote one down that was like especially heinous.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that she didn't even know the name of it until she wrote it down.
I can't believe you're like reading it.
I
would have X'd out instantly. I'd be like, actually, that's it. That's the story.
Well, let's see. I think the children finally got to come back in June.
Okay.
The children said they felt safe after they left the house on Carolina Street, so they moved out.
Smart. Probably should have done that in the first place.
No demonic presences or spirits in the home. DCS family case manager, Christina Olenjnik, wrote in their meeting notes on January 10th, 2013. This is all a year. The family is no longer fixated solely on religion to explain or cope with the children's issues. Okay. For her part, Ammon said it was not the psychologist who resolved her problems. When you hear something like this, don't assume it's not real, because I've lived it. I know it's real.
Damn.
Then that's the demon house in Indiana, in Gary, Indiana. I won't be going there. I shan't be going there. If I know it's nearby when we're going through Indiana, I'm going to close my eyes. I can't fucking deal.
So they are in a different house now?
Yeah, they moved out.
I don't know, man. It's an awful lot to go through. It's an awful lot to go through to like be fake. You know what I mean?
Like, this is a huge shtick, if it's a shtick.
Yeah, and it's not that people wouldn't do that, but like it doesn't
It's
sound
not
like
giving
right.
shtick.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they got a lot from it, you know?
I know. I think that's what it calls me to say, like, I think there probably was ghost activity, and they were also blaming the ghosts for, like, the kids' behavior.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's possible that a lot of things were happening at the same time. Well, and like, some of the shit that she does and the decisions that she makes, I have to remember that, like, the culture that she was raised in and, like, the religion that she was raised in have so deeply affected her.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair to be like,
Yeah.
why don't you know better? She may have been literally homeschooled and only, like, gone to church.
Right. And I guess I don't, well, that's true, like keeping the kids home and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like I do think like, what I don't know, like her excuses made sense. Like if you're willing to believe it, you have to like believe that like that's a lot, like a person.
I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Okay, a person being like haunted by one ghost can be like truly torn down. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And so like to have a house that filled with really negative stuff, like it again, if you're choosing to believe it, like you 200 plus entities, like of course you're going to run ragged, you're going to go sick, you're going to whatever, and like it's her and her grandmother or her and her mom and they don't know what to do, like you don't know what to do in that situation. So like it's not, if you're believing it, it's not completely like out of the question for all of a sudden you're like keeping your kids home and you're trying to just like fight through it day to day and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, like I didn't realize how much they'd missed, you know what I mean? Like I just, days have flown by, I don't even know what's going on.
My kid's on the ceiling.
Can't get him down. Like
He can't. He's not gonna make it on time. He's calling in sick today. Oh, this is like the third day in a row. I have 200 fucking demons in my home. It might be 10 days in a row.
Right. Like if you want to come grab him from the ceiling,
You're more than fucking welcome. You come get him down. I don't speak Latin.
I just like, yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know.
He walked up the wall.
Right. And there was no sign of like, it sounded like there was no sign of neglect or abuse other than the fact that they had been staying home. From what like you were reading, it didn't sound like they weren't eating. It didn't sound like they weren't even being like cleaned. It sounds like it was
in fine condition and they didn't have any marks or bruises on them.
Right. So it sounds like the only kind of neglect that she was having was keeping them home, which like, again, I don't want to like, that would be a really bad situation too if that's what she was doing. But like, there's not enough evidence that's like, yeah, she definitely was fucking just like a bad mom or she was just abusing them,
That's totally the root of this.
If there was a haunted house like that where it was just like purely an evil place and they're surviving through it, like the one thing that showed up as like, yeah, the kids haven't gone to school in a long time, like that would make sense in that scenario, them being thrown around and stuff, I feel like they would have had bruises though.
There's conflicting shit. I think what you said, like, there's not enough evidence, period. There's not enough evidence. Like,
right.
There's
more evidence at least for like
demonic fucking possession.
Yeah, that people like
witnessed
saw it. Yeah.
So Zach Baggins actually bought the home.
He did.
And he apparently said that this, take this as you will with him, but he said it was easily like one of the most disgusting places he's ever been.
Yeah.
He made a documentary about it called Demon House.
Yeah.
In 2019, and he also made the decision to demolish it.
Wow. You know what? And like I will say for me, like I don't believe the shit he does. Like we were saying, like I don't think like Ghost Adventures is just a stupid show. You know what I mean? Like, and I believe he might be going to haunted places, but I don't think he's catching any evidence. He's just being stupid. But the man loves ghosts. He's a ghosty lover for sure. And he loves making money. And so for him not to turn that house into a museum, that tells me that it might be fucking haunted.
Yeah, like he made a documentary about like the people in the area who like their stories about it.
Yeah.
And the encounters that have happened, and then demolished it. Like,
yeah. And I just like being the guy he is, being kind of like the sleazy businessman he is with like haunted things. Like he's got that, he collects all the haunted shit and has the museum. For him not to turn that into an attraction where he can make money, like that gives me the vibe. Yeah, that it might actually be like a fucking portal.
I think the closest I could get to it would be like passing by in a car that's going 50.
I can't stop thinking about like the broken up concrete just in that one spot where it's a dirt ground. Like that's obviously where the portal is, right?
She said it seems to emanate from under the stairs.
The guy that like went in there because he was like a believer and whatever, and
the
then
cop,
yeah, and then his own life gets fucked up, like because like you said, there's so many, like even just like going in for a second, like if you're entertaining it, like easily one of them could hop on. You know,
he showed fear.
Yeah. There's one house, like there's one ghost in the house, like that's its house. It's probably going to stay there for the most part. Like if anything, the family's been in there for a while provoking it, like it'll probably go to them.
Fuck, 5 ghosts. I'd be like, oh, they live here.
Yeah. 200? You know some of them are getting restless.
He said he doesn't believe in demons.
Yeah.
And then all that shit his garage that night his shit started fucking up.
The thing that was happening that the mechanic was like, yeah, you probably would have gotten into an accident. Like that alone, you know? Blech. Don't fuck with that shit, man. Yeah, I would never hear that. I'd be like, oh, I believe them, and now I'm moving.
True.
I don't want to live in Gary.
Yeah, I don't feel strongly enough about Gary to stay here.
Yeah. Ugh. No.
So those were our very ooky spooky scary ghost stories in Indiana.
If you have any haunted stories about where you live, please write them in to ghoulbeanspodcast@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at ghoulbeanspodcast.
If you have coffee recommendations, I would love a good coffee recommendation.
Me too, because we're just finding stuff and like that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time doing it, but if there's something we should be looking out for,
why wouldn't you tell me?
Sis. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you for joining us.
And spilling
the ghoul beans.